Today, on Be Something Wonderful, manifest it anyway, despite current undesired 3D conditions. I am your host, Tom Kearin, and this is the Be Something Wonderful studio of higher consciousness, where we help you level up and become the best version of yourself. Creators, welcome back. Powerful video this morning. This comes from really a comment, a beautiful comment from someone that was a client of mine and also a long-term subscriber. And she was referring to what the sort of manifestations in her life that have happened with her. She is with a specific person or a new love, right? Someone that she had a connection with at some time, that she reunited with, and she moved on from she was operating a little shop that wasn't her heart's desire, to life coaching, to now being a life coach, to what she really wants to do. So she's done a 180. She's changed her whole life. But back when I did this video, this was a few months ago now, several months ago, I think. And I was doing a video on another client who, while affirming, while imagining, while announcing the new reality, assuming that they're with a person that they thought they wanted to be with, a specific person, they met somebody else and fell in love and realized that this person was the one they wanted to be with, and not the SP or the specific person that they thought they wanted to be with. And then this other client who I'm talking about, who commented on the channel last night, was quick to point out back then, right, that the video I'm doing debunks the law of assumption. That it's showing that the law of assumption doesn't work, that person didn't get what they want, that they manifested somebody else. It wasn't who they intended. And so I wrote her, I texted her because she was a client at the time, and softly led her through what this video really means, what we're really talking about. It's not that person didn't manifest what they want. It's that they realized what they really wanted was that person that they met after, the one they fell in love with. So hear this, as they aligned with that I amness, as they aligned with their true nature, as they aligned with who they really were, as they assumed and affirmed from that place of knowing and conviction within, they met someone that truly aligned with their higher nature. That's what that message was about, right? And I realized there were a lot of comments on that coming from others that were still feeling the separation from that specific person they wanted. So the message wasn't to give up your desire or modify it in any way. The message was sometimes your true desire, sometimes that changes, or you realize from that higher perspective of I amness what you really wanted. That's all. It didn't change anything. She could have still decided to be with that person that she was, quote, manifested, and could have manifested him. But at some point, from that I amness, from her wholeness, from being connected to who she truly is, she would realize what she really wanted. Sometimes what we really want is what we want. Sometimes it's not. But this was the big message. So she wrote a beautiful message last night about how she finally realized, she finally got it, that it was her alignment with her I am. And when she did, it wasn't the specific person that she thought she wanted to be with either. She reconnected with an old love, someone that she had a connection with. And now they're in a loving relationship. Not only that, she's changed her whole life. She was running a little shop that wasn't really her heart's desire. And now she has closed that shop and is now doing life coaching, what she really wants to do. She has changed her whole life by this. So, and even despite her doubts, right? Despite that, she stayed and pointed to that awareness of who she truly is. She still aspired to that I am. Through all the doubts, she assumed it anyway. She imagined it anyway. She declared it anyway, announced it anyway, and then met her true desire. And so this morning I was thinking, how do I want to really present this? Because I've talked about it in so many ways. And I had my book that was nearby, The Science of Mind by Ernest Holmes. This is an original copy. This is 1923. And there was just one sticky in it. And so I opened it up. And what is that what page did it go to? It went to the prodigal son, the story of the prodigal son. And right, the highlight, as you can see, it's highlighted right here. The highlight is God turns to us as we turn to him. This is Ernest Holmes talking about the prodigal returning, right? Still returning, right? Returning to claim his power, but not really, still uncertain, right? But returning, and then it says, as God saw him, still he was a far way off, God went running to him. He was returning, he was pointing back to that I amness, still feeling a far way off from it. Just as we do, we still feel far away or separated from our desires. But as you turn to God, as you turn to that higher power, it turns to you. God turns to us as we turn to him. I'm going to talk about this, but this is really talking about the law of reciprocity, right? There's only love, and there's nothing unlike love. We create that. So the law of reciprocity, some will say, well, that's the law of you reap what you sow, cause and effect, right? All of that, the law of karma, the law of cause and effect. But really, it's bigger than that. That there's only love. There's only I amness, and either you're recognizing it or you're not. And when you're not recognizing it, you have that experience that you call negative emotion. But negative emotion doesn't exist. It's only you not recognizing, hear this, the love that you are. It's you being unaware, not conscious of that love that you are. That's the experience of negative emotion. So as you recognize that love that you are, though, it's the law of reciprocity. That's all you'll see, like A Course in Miracles says. If you want only love, that's all you'll see. You'll only see that, right? So assume it anyway. Imagine it anyway. Declare it anyway. Announce it anyway. I don't care about your doubts. I don't care what you think unloving things are happening or what negative emotion that you think you have or those thoughts and feelings. God turns to us as we turn to him. Whether you believe it or not, whether you think you are deserving or worthy or not, whether you feel fulfilled or not, whether 3D conditions are judged good, bad, or ugly or not, turn to God, turn to that I amness, and it will come running to you, like the story of the prodigal. I am divine love, I am God, turns to you as you turn to it. There's no other power, there's no other source. So that it must be, that's why the law of reciprocity is so powerful. There's only love. So it must turn to you as you turn to it. It's just us turning away from it, feeling there are possibilities of unlove, that negative emotion can exist. But it doesn't. That's just the experience of turning the other way from love, right? Turning the other way from that I amness. So this subscriber, this is what she said. These are her words, and it's on the channel. I think it's on the current video or yesterday's video. She goes, I was the perfect example of letting conditions dictate my life. In other words, looking outward. In other words, looking in the opposite direction of that love, right? I even came on here, meaning on the channel, and pointed out, commented, that a video he'd made about a client, that I made about a client finding a new SP, moving on from her old SP, was only debunking the law of assumption or law of attraction or the law. And then she goes on to say, yet he calmly and patiently texted me that I wasn't seeing the bigger picture. I walked her through it in a text, what that really meant. And then she says here, 2 words, I am, have helped me understand the concept after 10 years of trying. After 10 years of looking in the opposite direction of your true nature. 10 years of looking out there for the solutions, for the answers, right? She finally saw I am. And when you only want love, you'll see nothing else, as A Course in Miracles says. She reunited with an old love. Not the SP that she thought she wanted, even as we talked about in her sessions. Not that. And she closed her shop that she didn't really want to continue to do, and now is offering life coaching. Changed her whole life. I want to hit this like we never had before. Remember, it's not about attracting good things into your life, but rather it's realizing you are life and you are that good. It's not about attracting love in your life. It's realizing that you are that love, right? As you stare at the 0.0001% of physical manifested reality and judge it not enough, you create a reality of not enoughness. Do you see it? Thoughts and feelings are judgments about reality. They are not reality. They are not your true nature or name or I am. That's your true nature. So remember, I am is divine love. It's the only source and power. It's your only self-concept. She went on to say that she worked on herself, right? She worked on her perception, but you don't have to work on anything. You just got to point towards it. You just got to point back towards it and stop looking away from it, and it will come running to you. It's your only self-concept is that divine love. It's your only story. So it's not even changing your story. It's going back to it's claiming your true story, your true nature, right? I am doesn't need fixing or improving. It doesn't need to be worked on or improved. I think someone commented on the channel, yes, but Tom, no, there's a difference between your God self and your ego self and all of this. You're just talking about all those terms, I get it, that are out there that people have made up to describe that higher nature versus your lower nature, but you are all God, or you're not God at all. You're all God. There's nothing to work on. You can throw out, yes, you can. I know there's concepts by well-educated people, by people that know what they're talking about. I get it, the God self and the ego self and all that. But what I'm saying is forget all that and go to yourself, your true self, who you really are. You need only recognize and receive it. Turn to God. And this is what a prodigal son says in Luke 15:20. And he arose, the prodigal son, and came to his father. But when he was still a long way off, a great way off, it says here, even when we feel like we're a great way off, a long way off, still seeing unwanted conditions, and still seeing contrary conditions in some cases. Even then, his father saw him and had compassion and ran and fell on his neck and kissed him. God came running to him and embraced him. He didn't say, where have you been? What have you been doing? Why did you waste your inheritance? None of that. Remember, in the prodigal, God doesn't question any of that. God doesn't say any of that. Even when the son says, Father, I've sinned. I haven't been a good son. God doesn't even answer to any of that. God doesn't see any of that. We make all that up, that unworthiness, not being deserving, guilt, regret. None of that. God sees through all of it and just comes and embraces you and says, it's always been yours. The kingdom, what's yours is mine and always has been. The kingdom is yours. So when we imagine, affirm, and assume our wish fulfilled, while conditions appear to be unchanged or even judged worse, we feel and think fulfillment is a long way off, just like the prodigal. We feel like we're a long way off, right? And we start running the other way. So think of the prodigal. The prodigal turns to God, starts returning, and God comes running to him. What if that moment he said, no, conditions still haven't changed. I still don't feel my wealth. I still feel like I'm in poverty. I still feel like I am the poverty. And he started running the other way. Well, God will still run after you. God never leaves you. But you're making it awful difficult running the other way from God. Stop running away from God. Stop running away from your good. I'm getting a tingle when I say that. So I know this is the message. Stop running away from it. The law of assumption doesn't work. I'm doing something wrong. It's not working. This is the things we say. This is what that subscriber and that client, who was a client, said. You try harder. You put in more effort. You run harder and faster. But you're running in the other direction. You're running in the opposite direction of everything you want. Do you see it? We even run faster because we think that's the right way. But you're running away from God. You're running away from your good. You're running away from your love, right? So remember, God, from a science in mind, right? I love that book. God turns to us as we turn to him. Ernest Holmes, The Science of Mind. That's the law of reciprocity, right? It's not yes, you reap what you sow, but the law is bigger than that. The message is bigger than that. That there's only love to reap, right, and sow. There's only love to reap. There's only love to sow. And so when we turn away from that love, we have an experience that we call a negative sensation or a negative feeling or negative conditions. But that's just us turning the other way, running away from God, running away from love, running away from life. Run towards life, run towards love, run towards God, and then you will see, I'm getting tingles again, that you're only I am, that you're only love, just like the subscriber. As you take interaction to assume, declare, imagine, and affirm, and announce your new reality and version of you, divine love, God I am, comes running to you no matter what, and will run after you if he has to. But stop running away. No matter how far off you think and feel you are, judged by appearances, you are still that untouched, untainted, perfect divine perfection of I am. Right? Those 3D physical conditions, those 3D thoughts and feelings, those are the appearances that God said, judge not according to appearance. Judge not according to what you're thinking and feeling. Judge righteously by the I am, by your true nature. That's what we mean by manifested anyway, despite unwanted current unwanted 3D conditions. I am your host, Tom Kearin, and this is the Be Something Wonderful studio of higher consciousness, where we help you level up and become the best version of yourself. Creators, thank you. Thank you for writing, subscribing, for commenting, for liking the videos. Thank you for joining our Facebook group, the Be Something Wonderful Ambassadors, at facebook.com/groups/Be Something Wonderful. Thank you for visiting our Facebook page on Facebook at Be Something Wonderful, for joining us on Instagram and Twitter at Tom Kearin, and for joining our membership channel. There's a new video in the works coming out. There'll be a live stream. There's a lot more content on that channel as well, and there's a link below. If you've joined, thank you. Thank you for joining. If you haven't, join us. If you don't want to, don't join, but you're with us anyway. Love you guys, no matter what. With great love, with great light, and infinite gratitude, this is Tom Kearin with Be Something Wonderful. We'll see you soon.